Now that you've had some practice with C major scale in first position, we're going to jump into improvising. Improvising is such a fun way to incorporate what you've been learning and to grow your creativity and to express your emotions. First, I want to go over C arpeggio. This will kind of give you the bones for C major. The chord consists of root, third, and fifth, and then also sometimes a seventh can be incorporated and others as well. But we're going to focus on the root, the third, and the fifth. Now, if you're walking up the scale, C major scale, and you count the first note as 1, 1, 2, 3, you can kind of figure out what the third and the fifth is. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, the third would be an E. That third on the C string is an E. So that's the third of the C major chord. If we jump right to it, it sounds something like this. And now fifth, if we walk up, so 3, 4, 5, the fifth is the G. So if we put that together, open C, third E, and open G, you can kind of hear that this is a C major arpeggio. And let's complete it with the root, which is fourth finger C. So now let's play that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So this is the 1 octave C arpeggio. If we keep on going, we're going to go to first finger E on the D string, fourth finger G, and second finger C. So if we put that all together, it sounds something like this. Now if we wanted to add the seventh, let's walk up and find that seventh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's the seventh, that's the B. Now if we do 2 octaves, just adds a little bit more depth. Good. Now, when you're improvising, those notes are notes that you can kind of know that you can fall back onto and it's going to sound good, no matter where you are in your phrase, and resolving on one of those, either the E, the G, or sometimes even the B, the seventh, can be a good way to really identify that you're in C major and that you're playing within this scale. Now, improvising is such a great way to express what's on your mind, what's in your emotions, and think of improvising as having a conversation or telling a story. When you're improvising, and if you hear people improvising, sometimes you'll notice these phrases that come out. That could be considered a phrase, and sometimes it's good to repeat the same phrase. And maybe do a variation. These are kind of phrases, and you're using these phrases to build themes and tell a story. So think of that when you're improvising. What I want you to do, we're going to play all the notes in the C major scale, first position, what you already know, and you've been practicing kind of going in different combinations, skipping different notes, kind of practicing that. So we're going to incorporate that practice into our improvisation. And one great way to start is to just play with a drone, a C drone. Now, when we play with the C drone, this will kind of keep us in tune. We're going to use our ear to make sure that intonation is right. So not only can you practice improvising with the C drone, you can also incorporate your exercises with the C drone. And this just really helps you train your ear. Now, one thing that we can do while we're playing to the C drone is really pay attention to what each note sounds like. What does that note evoke within you? What kind of emotion does that sound evoke? Now I'm going to play the C drone, and I'm going to play each individual note, just walking up the scale, and I want you to really listen and see how the relationship with the C and the relationship with the notes that I'm playing, what kind of emotions does that evoke? What does that say to you? We're building our vocabulary so we can then express ourselves on our instrument. So I'm going to play that C drone and play those notes. That's just the roots. That could be considered home. Now this is a D. Notice there's a little bit of tension there. It's really close to the C, so you're building tension. I'm going to go to the E. Now this is a third, remember, third of the chord, so this feels a little bit more natural, kind of sinks into the chord a little bit. Now we're off to the F. This is the fourth. This feels pretty good, really nice to resolve back to the third. Now I'm going to go on to the G, which is the fifth. This is also part of the chord. Going to the sixth, A. Feels like it's leading somewhere, right? Now we're going to go to the seventh. Even more so, it's really just pushing towards that root, creating that tension, back to the root, back home. Now I'm going to continue going and notice the different octaves evoke different emotions as well. That tension there, back home to the root. I'm going to go to the ninth. So as you can hear, these different harmonies, these different combinations of notes really evoke different emotions. They can tell a different story. They're different words, different phrases that can really build your story as you improvise. So think of that as you improvise. I'm going to give you an example, and I'm just going to go and thinking about rhythm as well. Think about a rhythm that you know, a catchy song that you know, and maybe you played random notes to the same rhythm that you know, or you're just playing around with your pizzicato and seeing what kind of different things you can do. This is all just experimenting, finding what feels good for you. So I'm going to give you an example of just a quick improvising. Now I want you to go forth and have fun with this. Play that C drone. You'll find a link to download that drone and just play around to your heart's desire, and maybe even practice your exercises with the drone and really get comfortable with this scale. Now you might want to experiment with different notes outside of what we learned. Maybe you want to play on the G string, maybe you want to play the second finger there. And this is the minor seventh. So remember how the B here is the major seventh that really leads towards, this is the minor dominant seventh. So maybe you want to play around with playing with this note as well. Or maybe you just want to play an F sharp. Maybe you want to play the third finger and see how that sounds. See what kind of dissonance or other weird sounds you can make. This is all just for experimentation and seeing what kind of music that you can create. So join me next time, have fun, and I'll see you later.